There's a quiet war happening inside you. Not the kind that shouts in the streets or leaves scars on skin, but one that whispers beneath your breath, claws at your thoughts, distorts the mirror, and tightens your chest when the world asks you to simply breathe. Anxiety. It's not weakness. It's not failure. It's the shadow cast by your sensitivity, your depth, your awareness of the infinite things that could go wrong. Anxiety is the cost of feeling too much in a world that numbs too often. It is ancient, a survival mechanism, a ghost from the time when the snap of a twig might mean death. And yet now, in this modern cage of glowing screens and silent comparisons, the predator is not in the jungle, it is in your mind. But you are not powerless. There are keys, small ones, hidden in plain sight rituals born from science, philosophy, and soul that can reclaim your breath. Still the racing thoughts and guide you back to the present moment where your power has always lived. Start with your breath. Not the shallow, hurried gasps you take when panic grips your ribs, but the kind of breath that slows time itself. Inhale slowly for 4 counts. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Again. And again. This is not just air, it's alchemy. A message to your nervous system that you are not in danger, that the war is not now, that you are safe. Deep breathing is not a suggestion, it is an act of rebellion against the spiral. It is your anchor when your mind becomes a storm. In this ritual, you don't escape the anxiety, you soften its grip. And then look around, literally. Ground yourself in what is real, what is tactile, what is here. The mind may race to futures you cannot control, but your body knows presence. Use it. 5 things you can see. 4 you can touch. 3 you can hear. 2 you can smell. 1 you can taste. This isn't a childish game. It is a return to your senses. The philosopher Kierkegaard once said, "Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. So dizzy yourself in the real. Taste the present. Anchor your soul to something verifiable, and you will remember you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that witnesses them." But awareness alone does not unclench your jaw or soothe the knots in your shoulders. Your body stores tension like a vault, years of stress, trauma, unshed grief, all held silently in your muscles. So you must teach it to let go. Slowly, deliberately, tense your toes, then release. Your calves, your thighs, move upward, part by part. This is not trivial, it is sacred. A conversation with your own flesh, a signal to the subconscious. You are safe now. Progressive muscle relaxation is not just therapy. It is prayer through the body. It is the somatic language of self-trust. And if trust feels far away, if your mind continues its relentless narrative of what-ifs and imagined disasters, close your eyes. Not in defeat, but in creation. Imagine a place, not just any place, but your place. Maybe it's a sunlit forest where the trees hum ancient songs, or a quiet beach where each wave writes forgiveness into the shore. Picture it in unbearable detail. The way the air smells, the texture of the ground beneath you, the way time dissolves there. This is visualization, not escapism, but embodiment. When the world outside roars too loud, you go inward. You become the architect of peace. Still, we are creatures of environment. And sometimes the invisible wires of our anxiety are not thought or feeling, but scent. The oldest part of your brain, the limbic system, lives off scent. Smell can bypass logic, memory, even trauma. A drop of lavender, a touch of bergamot, the comforting sharpness of peppermint. These aren't just smells. They're medicine. Aromatherapy has been used by cultures across millennia, from Egyptian temples to Japanese gardens, not as indulgence, but as invocation. A reminder that healing can be inhaled. Yet sometimes what you need is not calm. What you need is movement. Stillness can feel like a trap when your thoughts are sprinting, so let your body catch up. Stretch until the tension cracks. Walk until your thoughts run out of breath. Dance not for performance, but for liberation. Movement is memory. Movement is ritual. You are not a machine, meant to sit and scroll through the noise of 1,000 lives. You are an animal, and animals move to heal. You must honor that biology. Mindful movement reconnects you with the rhythm your anxiety tried to erase. But when the noise returns, because it will meet it with words that cut through. Affirmations are not magic, they're chisels, tools to carve new pathways through the brain's habitual trenches of fear. I am safe. This is temporary. I have survived this before. Say them out loud if you must. Whisper them if that's all you can. But let them be heard. Affirmations aren't about pretending everything is fine. They are about reclaiming authorship over the narrative. You are not helpless. You are rewriting the script, line by trembling line. And still, there are days when even words betray you. When the mind does not listen to mantras. When your body won't be coaxed by breath or grounded by touch. On those days, silence must come from elsewhere. Not through discipline, but through sound itself. Put on the right music, not the chaotic echoes of the world outside, but something older, slower, truer, a melody that moves beneath the surface like water smoothing stone. The brain synchronizes with rhythm. The heart slows to match its pulse. Ancient tribes knew this when they chanted by firelight. Monks knew it in echoing halls. And you know it when a single piano note makes your spine remember how to feel. Calming music is not just background, it is balm. Let it remind you peace can be orchestrated. But when even sound fails to reach the locked doors of your nervous system, there is another key, colder, sharper, more primal. Water. Not a bath, not a spa. No. A splash. Cold. Direct. Real. When the mind spirals, it can feel like drowning in invisible waves. The quickest way out? Shock the system into now. Splash cold water on your face, feel it jolt your breath, break the cycle, bring you home. This is biology, not mysticism. The dive reflex, an ancient mechanism that slows your heart rate, redirects blood flow, reminds your brain that you are not about to die. It's dramatic, yes. But so is anxiety. So match it. Meet it not with fear, but with sensation. Wake yourself from the fog. And now that your breath is steady, your body grounded, your senses alert, ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind? Because anxiety does not only come from within, it is often amplified by the constant drip feed of other people's lives, fears, anger, and projections. Every scroll is a gamble with your peace. Every like a trigger. Every headline a new disaster to imagine. Your phone is not a window, it's a portal. And not all portals lead to truth. Sometimes, the most radical act of self-care is disconnection. Shut it down. Step away. Reclaim your attention from algorithms trained to hijack it. Disconnecting from technology isn't avoidance, it's sacred. It is the space in which your mind can breathe again, can think again, can be again. Because in truth, what you are doing through each breath, each movement, each small ritual is remembering. You are remembering that anxiety is not your enemy, it is your messenger. An invitation to listen, to slow down, to honor the parts of you that were never meant to live in this constant barrage of speed and fear and expectation. Philosopher Alan Watts once said, "The reason we suffer from anxiety is because we are trying to do today's jobs with yesterday's minds." And he was right. The pace of the world outstrips the design of the soul, so you must adapt not by becoming harder but by becoming more aware, more present, more sovereign in your inner world. That is what these 10 rituals are. Not cures, not quick fixes, but tools, sacred, practical tools. Not to erase anxiety, but to greet it with wisdom, to meet the storm not with panic, but with presence. Because you are not broken. You are not weak. You are a nervous system trying to survive in a world that forgot how to slow down. But you can remember. You can choose over and over again to return to the moment. You can choose to breathe, to ground, to relax, to imagine, to smell, to move, to speak, to listen, to feel, and yes, to disconnect. Because healing is not a single act. It is a return, a remembering, a reclamation. And so you return. Not to some perfect, sterilized version of yourself, but to the one who feels deeply. the one who sometimes trembles under the weight of uncertainty, the one whose hands shake not from weakness, but from holding on so tightly to a world that changes too fast. You return not as someone who has defeated anxiety, but as someone who has befriended it, because anxiety at its core is proof of your aliveness. It is the echo of a mind trying to protect you, a heart that still cares, a spirit unwilling to go numb. You are not flawed for feeling too much. You are not broken for struggling to quiet the noise. If anything, you are awake. And wakefulness in a world asleep to its own suffering is a burden, but also a power. You live in an age where attention is currency, where peace is a commodity sold back to you through blue light and dopamine loops. But you now are armed with something different, something ancient. You are armed with breath, with presence, with the unshakable knowledge that your mind is not your master, it is your instrument, that your body is not your prison, it is your compass, that your fear is not your prophecy, it is your signal. And what matters most is not that you never feel anxious again. It is that when anxiety arrives, and it will, you no longer meet it with shame, but with skill, with patience, with presence. You breathe into it. You ground yourself like a tree with deep roots in a storm. You move, you listen. You speak softly to yourself as a parent might to a frightened child. You dip your hands into cold water and feel the pulse of now. You step away from the glowing illusions of false urgency, and you reclaim the small, quiet power of being here, truly here. That is the revolution. Not in running away, not in fixing what isn't broken, but in feeling fully without being consumed. Because the real courage is not in pretending you are calm. The real courage is in standing at the edge of panic and choosing again and again to stay, to breathe, to live. You are not behind. You are not alone. You are human. And in your most chaotic, uncertain moments, and there is still beauty. The kind of beauty that does not announce itself loudly, but waits patiently beneath the noise. A stillness, a presence, a peace that does not shout but whispers, "You are here, and here is enough." So the next time the storm rises, don't reach for perfection. Reach for one breath, one touch, one movement, one kind word, and let that be enough. Let that be your return. Because in that moment, however small, you reclaim your mind, your body, your life. And no one, not even your fear, can take that away from you. Thank you for watching.